I made more money than I ever have in the past 3 months, and part of me still feels like a failure. And that's the crazy part about online business is that there's always going to be somebody doing better than you. But what I've been realizing is that I can take this two ways because I had about 50 sales calls in this past month, and I've had one buyer so far. If you know anything about online business, that is a absolutely abysmal close rate. And ultimately, I could take this two ways. I could be like, one, I need to go and just change my offer, change what I'm doing, and think that it's not working. Or two, I could go and refine what it is that I actually am doing on my sales calls, what it is that I'm telling people in my content, the level of like authenticity that I'm allowing myself to bring forward, and really let it up level what it is that I'm doing because like I know what I have worked. I'm about to release my first client testimonial for one of my clients, Charisma, who just went from zero to, or not zero, 2,000 to 32,000 followers in the 3 months that we worked together. I have another case study coming soon. My boy Daniel, he's about to sign some clients after working with me for less than a month. And then I have this energy drink company that I'm about to get on TikTok Shop and make a ton of money. And it's like, the nice part is once you start to work for yourself, what happens is that you're always going to be increasing in your level of like the notches on your belt. You know, you're only ever going to get more testimonials of people you help. So it is hardest at the start. And it's like, at first I thought like, oh my gosh, I've signed some clients and now I made it. And then I had clients that didn't even feel like making videos. I had clients that just stopped being able to pay me midway through. I had clients that just didn't feel like responding to me after they said they were interested in working with me. Some who even put down a down payment. And it's like, on one hand, I can take it personally, and I am taking it personally in the sense that like now I know what I need to do better. But on the other hand, it's like I'm not gonna let this just like feeling like a failure stay with me because honestly, it has nothing to do with my clients or the money I've made or the lack of money that I could have made that I didn't make. It really comes from something deeper to where it's like I've been holding back in my videos from feeling like a failure for honestly 8 years now. Like I just recorded a podcast and it's not released yet, but I pretty much walk people through my story of how I feel like I failed every single business venture that I ever did until I came to coaching. And so it's like, it was kind of foolish of me to expect that just getting the material result that I wanted of like, oh, cool, I just made 15 grand in 3 months. This is great. Would actually alleviate me from having to deal with this like mentality that I had that I was just like not successful because success is like multiple things, right? I go and say success is there's three C's to success. There's clout, coin, and connections. But if you know, then success is only spelled with two T's. So if you have two of the three C's, then you're going to be successful. If you have clout and coin, you're successful. Connections, clout, you're successful. Coin and clout, you're successful. But for a while, I just felt like I was like coasting along with just one C. Like I've always been connected with people that were pretty up in one way or another. But I was either had no money or no clout, or when I didn't have money, I didn't have any connections or clout. So it's like now I kind of do have the three C's, but they could all be better, honestly. And it's like, it's funny. I see these kids going around with like making $100,000 a month at 19 because they locked in. And meanwhile, I'm here 28 and I pretty much only realized that like I actually needed to make money at like 25, which I get is like not really that common, but it is also just my reality, you know? And I guess because I went and I started with a bunch of money and then I thought that, oh yeah, like I'm gonna invest this money in the way that I thought would like make something happen, but it was existing in the world like as I wanted it to be, not as the world actually was. Like, damn, that was brutal and I felt like a failure. Then I went and I made this jade lamp here, which is really beautiful, but I invested a ton of money into making it and it didn't get me a financial return. And so like that made me feel like a failure. And then I had made a bunch of money in copywriting and lost my jobs because I was pursuing like this other investment opportunity. It was like someone wanted to invest in a company that I was building that ended up falling through, and then that made me feel like a failure. And then I feel like I just got saved ultimately from just like a job that I got from our referral network. And then it's just like barely coasting by, barely coasting by, barely coasting by. And then once I started to do coaching, it's like, boom, suddenly more money than I've ever made in my life came into my life. I got a great client result, but it's like, I can tell at this point that it's like more so than any like sales problem or any like lack of fulfillment. Although like honestly, I know both my sales process and my fulfillment could be better, but it's ultimately been a vibe problem because it's like I notice how on pretty much all my calls in the past like week I've been like, oh, this person's not gonna buy, this person's not gonna buy, and it's like my mind wasn't even letting me conceptualize and visualize people buying, and it's like I'm a magician. Why am I not letting myself actually picture what it is that I want? And then that just makes me feel more like a failure. But it's like, I think part of the reason that I've been feeling like this is just that I haven't really allowed myself to be open and fully authentic, which is ironic, right? Because it's like, I teach people how to make content by being authentic. So it's like, why am I not being authentic? But like, it goes back to one of the things that one of my coaches told me, and he's like, really smart guy, makes like, I don't know, over $1 million a month at this point. And he told me, it's like, let's say that like when you're a coach, right? And if you're thinking about being a coach, this applies to you too. When you're a coach, it's like you don't have to finish the full marathon to help somebody out who's at mile 1 if you're at mile 20 or even mile 10 or even mile 5, right? Because this coaching thing is a journey. And it's like the more present that you are, the more present that you are to like how to overcome your own obstacles, the more present you can be to helping other people overcome their obstacles. And it's like, I guess I'm just realizing the full necessity of how I need to really walk the walk to talk the talk. And it's like I have been walking it, but then there's also so much more that I can be doing. But I think the real lesson that I'm realizing is that I just need to stop comparing myself to other people and start comparing myself to my past self. Because it's like this time last year, it was about month 6 of making whatever money that I could from doing tarot readings once a week. And like, I'm a pretty good tarot reader. I do pretty well for myself doing that. It made me like $100 to $300 every week consistently. But like, even still, that does not even pay for the rent in this beautiful place. I had to exhaust all my savings and even ask my mom for rent a couple times. And until I just decided, it's like, Mom, this is the last month that I'm going to go and ask you for rent. And whatever happens, happens. And then through the grace of the universe, I managed to go get multiple copywriting gigs to go and pay my bills that month. And it just happened like through divine synchronicity. And it was great. It was like, there was a moment when I was still down $1,000. I did one of my dream planting exercises that I learned from my shamanic teacher. Then boom, the exact amount of money I needed showed up literally the next day. And that was great, you know, but now it's like, there's still this like resistance in me that just wants me to be farther along than where I'm at. Like, why am I still not making $10,000 a month, even though like I have it all together, or what I feel like is having it all together? And I think it's honestly just my vibe. Like, I know I used to go and really self-medicate a lot with marijuana to go and like feel like I'm high vibing, you know. And then what ended up happening with that is it's like I just didn't actually get anything done. I was always way more self-conscious than I felt like I really should have been. And so rather than like producing and viewing myself as capable, I just viewed myself as incapable and like as a failure and some dude that was stoned all the time that didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Although I had some interesting things, some cool mystical powers, but it was not like translating into a way where I could even afford to fully support myself. And now it's like I've quit that more or less for almost 9 months now. I think I've smoked like, I don't know, a dozen times in the past 9 months or something like that. And compared to doing it every day, I think that's pretty good. Compared to where I was this time last year, that's pretty good. And it's like, honestly, this time next year, I could be at $100,000 a month. And even if I'm not at $100,000 a month, I'm sure I'm going to be at like 20, 30, you know? So I guess that's really the lesson here is like, don't let yourself feel like a failure just because you're not where you want to be. You're as successful as you allow yourself to be. And as you go and compound your success, as you just go and like realize like, what is this really trying to teach me? For me, it's like I've done so many things to try to like let myself just share my vulnerability online and actually share some of the stories. because I know that's like part of what's holding me back. But like, I've just been scared that like, oh my gosh, if I share this, then people are gonna be like, oh, Ghost can't be a good coach, because he's not perfect. He didn't close out of his 50 sales calls. Like maybe he sucks at teaching sales. And it's like, you know what? Maybe there are better people that teaching sales than me, honestly. But also, maybe the fact that I'm still here being real with you and like I'm totally dedicated to getting as many case studies as possible, making sure that every single person that signs up for my program and does the work is going to succeed, regardless of if it takes longer than the program price. Maybe that'll make some of you want to work with me more, you know? Because it's like, I know that for my own journey, going and having mentors is literally what has allowed me to make these quantum leaps from being just like some stoned rapper wannabe into being like an actually successful content creator, or being a content creator into being like a successful coach. Like all that happened because of mentorship. And it's like, if you think that I'm the person that you want to work with, it's like, I will go to the end of the earth to make sure that you get results if you're also willing to go there with me. Otherwise I'm just going to the end of the earth for fun. I'm going to go and see if those Antarctic portals really go into like inner earth or whatever, But it's okay, because the people that are going to see this are going to see this. And if you want to work with me, great. Like I literally just had someone that didn't even work with me. We got on a free call. Bro has 250,000 views in the past month on YouTube. Like what? Like I know I'm out here alchemizing people's reality, getting them results. So it's like, I'm not even going to let myself see myself as a failure after this video, but I am going to let myself see myself as more successful, because I think this has really just been my own blockage that has been yearning to be released through making videos about it and through actually opening up to you guys. So anyways, go and comment something if you watched to the end of the video. Let me know if you're around and you appreciated this message. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the journey. If you're here and you want to work with somebody that is going to $100,000 a month, then go and work with me now before I raise my prices and I'm not doing as many one-on-ones. Like I do still feel like if you're an aspiring coach or you want to be a coach, remember this. It's like when you are somebody that is increasing your own level every day, that is the most important thing to be as a coach. So I know that's what I'm doing. Even if this video, it makes me a little nervous to post it, and I tried like 3 other times to record it and I didn't. That's okay. I'm still gonna go and post this one, and whoever sees it sees it. It's all good. But yeah, go and comment, coach. If this video has been enjoyable for you, and be of a person of increase in your own life too, because you're worth it. So anyways, aloha.